I've eaten a lot of raccoon. Yes. The answer is yes. And I've eaten it hunting. I've actually had it served by my mom at the table away from hunting. And I have eaten raccoon. And yes, it's not uncommon at all. I'll tell you something that is one of my favorites is squirrel. And it's wonderful, and my mother could do a great job of it. And we all had our favorite pieces, and my dad and sister, I have one sibling, a sister, and they would fight over, not fight, but my mom and I, they were just, my sister and I as far as siblings, my mom and I wouldn't even ask for the brain in a squirrel.
Oh, man.
And delicious, seriously.
My dad loves cow
my
brain.
sister always got it, or my dad.
A fight over the brain.
Well, good morning, good people. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, man, if you just saw the vision of loveliness that just walked in front of me, oh my goodness. It's going to be a beautiful day. At least it is, as long as I got Miss Tracy. So, as always, I appreciate each and every one of you guys. We got my man Joe Boo in the house and the funky chicken right there by his side as we limp into the last, and I mean the last game of the Dallas Cowboys 24-25 season, and it's time to put this mother humper to bed. But remember, it's not too late. It's not too late for you to get your BetUS on. That's right. Get your BetUS on. Make sure you go to BetUS, use the promo code YouTube150, and get 150% matching on your first 3 deposits. They're not just the NFL, people. You got basketball, you got hockey, you got football, you got every sport under the sun. You even have board games, card games. You know what I'm talking about. But definitely check out BetUS and use that promo code YouTube150 and bet responsibly. So we're sitting here, and this is not the end. This is not the end. This is just the beginning. The beginning of where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? I don't know where we go from here. Nobody seems to know. All we know is other teams are in the process of finding a new coach, and tomorrow other ones will be saying, kiss my ass, get out. We're looking for a new love. The Cowboys, on the other hand, always do things a little bit differently than everybody else. So the Cowboys, well, they're going to take their time on this. They're going to take 9 days to decide if Mike McCarthy is the guy or not. They're going to do their due diligence and in the end make a hurried decision that they'll end up regretting later on, because that's what they do. They're the Dallas Cowboys. Now, they will get an opportunity to see up close again one of the targets that we've heard from all the talking heads out there, which is Kliff Kingsbury, who was famously the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals with Kyler Murray. Offensive-minded guy, seeming to have done great things as part of Dan Quinn's change of the Washington Commanders. The Commanders having something to play for, because Commanders right now, they're the 6th seed. A win keeps them from dropping to the 7th seed. They drop to the 7th seed, then they play the Eagles opening round. So there's that. So they have something to play for. Cowboys, we only have pride to play for, and also seeing maybe Trey Lance. And we go back through some of the boneheaded things that the Cowboys have done in the name of, we're smarter than everybody else. When everybody else was offering a 7th and a 6th round for Trey Lance, the Cowboys, they said, hey, that's our guy. We've done our due diligence on him, and that's the guy we want. And we're going to give you a 4th round pick because we're so sure of it. And then for 2 years, basically say, we care about winning. We don't want to play this guy. Today, we'll finally see some of Trey Lance. Mainly because they want to make sure that they can save $250,000 because they're frugal with their money. They're frugal with their money. They don't want to pay the bonus the additional $250,000 if Cooper Rush plays 55% of the snaps. And so that's why we'll probably see a lot of Trey Lance. So the question becomes, after this game, will the Cowboys do a quick knee-jerk reaction and say, Mike McCarthy, we appreciate all the things. We've given you all the love on the way out, but we don't need you. Thanks, but no thanks. Hit the road, Jack, and don't come back no more, no more, no more. And then start the process of finding the new Patsy for Jerry and Stephen Jones' plaything. Because let's be clear here. What the Cowboys really need to do is they need to hire a GM who they can scrutinize and be the middleman between the coaches and the front office, and give him authority to go ahead and make decisions based on winning. I got no problem with the Joneses being trying to be on Front Street, be out there talking a whole bunch of shit and everything, right? I have no problem with them expanding their brand, trying to bring in World Cup soccer and bring the Jake Paul fight. In fact, I would love it if they would focus in on doing those things, growing the business elsewhere, and leaving this business in the hands of capable hands to run it better. And with that GM, that we got somebody who understands contracts and the cap. Because clearly, if you watch my fireside chat last night, where I was talking and I asked the question, what move in 5 years that the Cowboys have done, yeah, it's only 20 degrees outside, have they done to make this team better? I ask you, other than the draft, where have the Cowboys brought in some extra help? Where have the Cowboys gone through and filled in holes? I've seen everybody out there, everybody do that. But when you're the Dallas Cowboys and you have spent the least in free agency since 2016, the whole tenor of Dak Prescott's career, how do we think that with other teams with more talent that you can compete? How is it that we know that Mike McCarthy's offense doesn't work if you have the personnel? I can't say that I know. I don't think you can say that you know, because we don't. We have gotten the mottos of, we're going to be better off without Amari Cooper because Jalen Tolbert was drafted in the 3rd round. We've got Ryan Fenoy has got Des Bryant in him. We have got Jonathan Mingo. He was second-round talented guy that we targeted before. Have any of these moves that we're talking about make these guys starters on most NFL rosters or standout players? How about when you signed Dontari Poe? An old-ass Dontari Poe. Or Linval Joseph, who's played pretty well, but an aging Linval. How about if we get a Linval Joseph when he's in his 20s? Instead of a Linval Joseph who's on his way out trying to grab his last paycheck. These are reasons why Mike McCarthy is not able to win a Super Bowl and why the next guy may not be able to. So, let's go to the tape here. We got a lot to do this morning before game time. I got to get some food and stuff working here. And let's get up.
We are back on Get Up, and our next game is Swagoo Says. It's been far too long since we've played this. I'm going to make a statement, something I think people are generally saying, big fella, and then we're going to see what you have to say. So, Marcus, if people say not letting Saquon go for the record is a mistake, what does Swagoo say?
No.
It's not a mistake, but I hate it. Okay? Listen, two things can be true. I want the man to break the damn rushing record. That's the bottom line. The other thing is, if he get hurt, Nick Sirianni already been fired 4 times this year. So this will be the 5th time he gets that noise. Everybody understands why Saquon may not go for the record, but I hate it. That's what Swagoo says.
Bart, what do you say?
I think it's consistent. I think if you let him play against the Giants, though, he has more fans on that side of the ball than he does defensively. They might just let him go, right? Right. They in Club Cabo already, so they quit a couple of games ago. I mean, last year, you talk about winning the game that gets them out of the first thing. They've given up a long time ago.
Graz,
I think
that's crazy.
A.J. Brown got hurt in a meaningless Week 18 game last year, and I think
that's got
might have.
Also, their bye was in Week 5.
Yes.
Right. So that's a long time ago. That's
trying to get him right.
I get it, but
Is the league MVP this year? What does Swagoo say?
Nope, Saquon. Saquon Barkley to me should be the league MVP, and I get it, quarterback award, all of that. But 2,000 yards in this season, and nobody can tell me he wasn't. We talk about the Philadelphia Eagles offensive line. We talk about as many exciting plays. We've ran highlights of Saquon Barkley all season long, and he can't win the MVP. Let's stop calling it the MVP and just call it the who's the best quarterback this year.
Now, the Davey O'Brien Award. What's the skeptical face, Graziano?
did they change the rules? You got to be new on a team now to win the MVP.
No, that's a part of it,
man.
though, Ross. That's a part of it.
He galvanized this entire thing, Graziano. This team hated each other by the end of last season, and he made them love each other.
Look, the offense is pretty much doing what it did last year. The defense is the reason that they're so much better than they were at this point last year. Lamar Jackson has almost 900 rushing yards.
Not my point.
So you got an old player doing new stuff. Nobody.
You asked the question too.
I asked it to you.
Yeah, and what day?
He has the highest QBR. He has the farthest yards per
Tim. Yeah.
I said the Cowboys. Listen,
Here we go.
The Cowboys should bring back Mike McCarthy.
Yep.
What does Swagoo say?
I say no, and it has nothing to do with me not thinking Mike McCarthy can coach this team. It's too much. Like, this dude has been through hell. Like, bro,
This is true. He has been
I
through
said
hell.
on this show a year ago, G, and everybody wanted to fire Mike McCarthy. The man won 12 games his first 3 years in the organization, and all we talked about was his job. Mike McCarthy should be ready to go, should be tired. I don't think he's cooked as a head coach. I think the situation that he's in Dallas
is a no-win
he's figured
situation.
out that I'm never going to have full autonomy to do anything here. And now you're to a point where you should want to get out and try to go put your stamp on the franchise.
Grouse, should we be thinking about him in terms of other coaching vacancies?
I think that's kind of out there, and I think it's helpful to him that it's out there. Look, I mean, New Orleans has a vacancy. He coached there at one time. Maybe there's a connection. But I think the Cowboys are probably his best shot. Yeah. I just don't know. See, to me, if you're the Cowboys, like, the whole point of moving on from Jason Garrett, however many years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, was to sort of elevate the program beyond, 8 and 8, 9 and 7.
Oh, he's done that.
First round, and he hasn't. I mean, he did get it to 12, but it's still nothing past the first round of the playoffs. So, yeah.
What do you think, Bart?
I mean, this is tough, right? Because very few coaches get 3 bites at the apple, right? And that's what we'll be saying. Him getting 3 head coaching jobs. But the fact that his offense hasn't really evolved into something that's modern.
Josh McDaniels got 2, and it was a failure at both. He's got to win.
That's the issue, right? You need this offense to be dynamic because they don't have the depth of talent when you think about CeeDee Lamb and who else.
So Marcus, let's just play the game.
That's my point.
If Mike McCarthy isn't the coach of the Cowboys,
you just hit my point.
But you want to go to New Orleans?
But if it isn't him,
no, you don't want.
Then who? Who do we want? If you're a Cowboys fan, who are you saying, Jerry, go get? Who?
Here we go.
The name you just said makes it very difficult to go get anybody.
Oh, the name Jerry.
Yeah, listen, man. The damn repetitive record of, are you gonna let the man do his job? Like, Ben Johnson doing great. Everybody here, hot commodity. Ben Johnson ain't going to Dallas and tell Jerry what he doing.
Nope.
Aaron Glenn ain't going there. People talk about Bill Belichick can go. No, he's not.
No chance.
This man fired a 2-time Super Bowl winner 20-something years ago.
Yeah.
And then won it again with Barry Switzer, and it validated a terrible move. I think you would have won 5 with Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah.
And, so it's just a lot of what is that coach going to be able to actually do when you name him a head coach.
There we go.
Graziano to do the one thing that all reporters hate to do the most.
Oh, no.
If McCarthy isn't the coach of the Cowboys, give me a name. Guess a name that could be it.
Kellen Moore? He was there, right? Yeah. I mean,
That's an interesting.
You said guess, I guess.
He's done a very good job in Philadelphia, right? That's a big boy wonder. Rex would enjoy that. We can talk about that. We'll see what winds up happening. The line in the Saturday games.
Again, and that's my point more than anything else. There's nothing wrong with an improvement. In fact, it would be warranted. But there's so many things that we can do. This is where I say when people say, Dak Prescott, just get rid of the quarterback. Okay, I hear what you're saying, but that's kind of a crapshoot. It's a crapshoot. We've seen a lot of quarterbacks that they've touted to be great coming out of college that have been complete bust. Trey Lance, to name one. San Francisco, which is a better run organization than us, thought by trading several number ones for that guy, he was the guy. And it turned out they were wrong. The Cowboys, my boy Walker Wade says, well, the Cowboys haven't drafted a quarterback in the first round in forever. Yeah, that's true. But when you look at some of the moves that they've made and some of the guys that they've wanted in the first round, Paxton Lynch, Johnny Manziel, it may be a good thing that they haven't drafted a quarterback in the first round because they probably would have screwed the pooch. They literally have found their franchise quarterbacks 2 times back-to-back by accident. They didn't sit around and say, oh, my God, listen, we're going to get Tony Romo. Tony Romo is going to lead us to the playoffs. He's going to be our franchise quarterback. And we just got to hope that, we're going to watch the draft and make sure that he doesn't get picked up. No, that wasn't it. Sean Payton was the guy who wanted Tony Romo, who found him and said, keep him on the roster for all those years, learning. Yeah. Dak Prescott, they wanted Connor Cook and Paxton Lynch. They wanted Connor Cook. They tried to make moves to move up to get those guys. They sucked. And they literally got to the end of the draft and said, we need a quarterback body to develop. And they got Dak Prescott. And they got lightning in a bottle. Whether you like him or not, he only cost the Cowboys a 4th-round draft pick. And I dare say they got their money's worth out of that 4th-round draft pick as opposed to what they've gotten out of Trey Lance. So, yeah, I don't know that the Cowboys, as they are currently constructed, they usually do really well with offensive linemen in the first round. The jury's out with Tyler Guyton. I think he needs to be on the right side like he used to be to get his feet wet. But be that as it may, there are so many areas you can improve that I can't say getting another quarterback is going to necessarily improve the team. We had a quarterback who the year before was on an MVP level, and literally it wasn't enough. And as I look around and I see a Brock Purdy who the year before when everybody was healthy, when he had Ayuk that was having a contract year season, and Deebo Samuels who didn't have quite as many miles, and Christian McCaffrey was leading the NFL in rushing, he looked like the best quarterback in football. Without those guys, not so much. He looks average, to say the least. And the reality is I don't think Brock Purdy is worse than he was last year. The team around him is worse. And Brock Purdy is making the case on or why the Cowboys are having problems. When you have only one weapon and a bunch of parts. When you're not consistent in running the football. When your offensive line is getting a lot of penalties and inconsistent in their blocking, it's hard to win. And when your defense sometimes is giving up 30, 40 points, you're not going to win very many games. And if you want to try and get a big bang for this, start taking care of those problems. Get a second weapon, a second legitimate receiver. When you had CD and Amari, man, that was a great combination. Get yourself consistent on the offensive line. Get yourself another running back. Get yourself some run-stopping defensive linemen. We've got a lot of holes to fill. Changing the coach ain't going to fill those holes. You've got to be willing to do those. So it doesn't matter if it's Mike McCarthy or somebody else. If the Cowboys keep running things the way they do, we'll have the same results. Alrighty, good people. We'll be here live watching the Cowboys and Eagles game and streaming it on the last go-round for the 24 seasons team. Hope you all having a great day, and I'll see you then. Peace.